on? Is this thing on? I think so. And guess what? You know what time it is. It's another episode of the Scoff Chronicles with yours truly, the Black Brown Burgundy, Smooth Guy O. And today's guest is one of the most heralded producers in the game right now. This guy deserves a lot more respect and flowers than he's getting right now, truth be told. He's been in the game for so many years. There's so much dope content, and right now he's working on an amazing project that I just want the world to get some kind of information, get known about. So without further ado, I would like to welcome my guy, my A1 guy who saw the evolution of Smooth Guy O himself, Edgar Burgos. How's it going today, man?
What up, Omari? What's happening?
I'm good. How are you holding up today? I'm glad you made this trip from Harlem to Brooklyn to show me some love, man.
Oh man, of course, man. I'm blessed, man. It's a privilege and honor to be here. You know, you're one of my guys from day one, and I feel privileged. Thanks.
I appreciate you once again for popping out, but let's jump right into it. So I seen your evolution in your career. You have your own production called Hard to Guard. Can you give the fans a breakdown of how this came about and what some of the amazing work you have done for the culture of sports, entertainment, and basketball? I mean, in sports, entertainment, and music overall.
Hard to Guard came about. I started out working in basketball with the New York Knicks in 1995, and in 1999, I got a job working for the NBA. That was the beginning of NBA TV. The way I got the job is I knew nothing about production, but sometimes you got to fake it till you make it.
Right.
And I learned when I got the job. It changed my life. Shout out to Saul Steinberg for giving me a shot, and I met some amazing people. During that time, we used to film. We filmed a lot of NBA content, obviously, and we started filming at Rucker Park, and we were the first to live stream games for NBA TV at Rucker.
Nice.
And I knew back then it was something. I was like, summer basketball always been big in New York, especially, besides Rucker. So in 2005, we created a show called Summer Ball, where MSG picked up, which we would go around New York City, shooting basketball content, doing features on guys and stuff like that. We did the show for 4 seasons, and we gave a lot of shine to a lot of people, and that was the start of Hard to Guard.
Love it. I love hearing the backstories about what makes your company and your legacy what it is right now. And I want to ask you in the next question, how was the process of just traveling from park to park or to borough to capture this content and be able to repurpose it one day at a time to where it belongs to the right outlets?
It was hard. I remember in the beginning, it was me, my boy Lance, my boy Mike Dempsey, and just getting the guys to believe, the commissioners to believe that we could do this. Because, everybody would always promise them things and nobody came through.
Right.
Our intention was like, these guys need light. And we would be everywhere. Like, I would be at one park, Dempsey would be at another park, Lance would be at another park, and then we'll go to the studio. And then we're in the studio all night. So, it was our first time doing, like, a weekly show.
Right.
For 10 weeks.
Right.
And we didn't know how hard it was.
Right.
But it was satisfying at the end of the week in the show. We had to put in, give the show up to MSG. And then when they showed it, we were like, yo.
Yeah, I did it.
We did
all
it.
work.
This is crazy.
Off.
And then, because I think you came on to help us out with Randy in our second season.
Yeah.
And we were like, you had no experience either. We was like, yo, take a camera and go to the park and shoot for us. And it was like, all right, cool, And Randy, shout out to Randy Millard. Yeah. Like, he didn't know anything about production either. And he would be, everyone was like, damn, Randy's everywhere.
Right.
But we knew we were doing something good.
Right. And
and then you see, the evolution where summer basketball is, and especially with content, because back then we were like the first ones. Now,
right.
everybody, there was no like camera phones like popping like that. We were doing everything just so to be the first is special.
Right.
I do wish though, like we were in the beginning of the social media era. So I wish that.
Gotcha. So, little backstory. Edgar threw me in the fire whenever I used to come home from school at Norfolk State University. Shout out to my HBCU, Behold the Green and Gold. We was able to do some social media content for summer ball when it was at Pro City and West Fourth and Hoops in the Sun, to say the least. And forever grateful for him just to throw me in the fire and give me that start and whatnot. But back to you as regarding towards Hard to Guard and legacy of it. I realized that you did a legendary documentary, which pretty much is about the greatest game that was never played, called the Blackout. Supposed to be Team Rockefeller versus Terror Squad. Can you give those fans who actually didn't know about this event that was supposed to happen a nice little play-by-play or a preview of synopsis of what was supposed to go down that day?
Oh man, in 2003, I still call it the greatest street basketball season I ever witnessed. Fat Joe and Jay-Z had teams at Rucker Park, and it was star-studded. Every game, it was like who's going to be there. Like it was just, it was unbelievable.
Right.
And the cool part is like I was working at NBA TV at the time, and we got to shoot a lot of it. And I remember years later, I was like, even during that season, I was like, yo, this needs to be like somehow documented.
Right.
And I remember sitting down with Greg Marius, may he rest in peace. And I was like, Greg, I want to do this doc. And he was like, yo, let's do it.
Right.
He was like, you ever did a doc before? I was like, nope, but we're going to do it, right? So we did it, and it was two teams with, Fat Joe was the defending champs. Jay-Z, at that time, he had the S. Carter's first, it was the first time he came out, so the way he promoted the sneakers through putting a team at Rucker.
Right.
And he brought a star-studded lineup every night. And at the time, Joe and Jay didn't really, care for each other much.
Right.
And everybody wanted to see that battle. And then that battle, it finally happened. It was supposed to happen on championship day. And the blackout in New York City happened. And the game never happened, and then they rescheduled, and it was chaos. But for us, I look at it now, God is funny because you're just like, I'm actually happy that the game never happened. Because it's like, it became this folk story.
Right.
Like, who was there, this person was going to play. So it just, it played out perfectly, I think. And then, we were able to do the doc. I think it's one of the best streetball docs ever made. Not because we did it, but
I agree.
Everybody, that tells us about it, they're like, yo, I really enjoyed it.
I agree.
Shout out for, and Fat Joe for helping us, putting it on board. And I remember, talking to Mike Kaiser, he helped. There was a lot. I mean, it was a lot of people that helped, make it happen. So, shout out to them.
Definitely. And for those who didn't check out the doc, it's on YouTube. Has over 1 million views. And as I was able to watch the documentary and read through the comments, nothing but positive raves and reviews. So if you want to learn more about streetball basketball and its history in New York City, it's only right you check it out. It's only right. So the game never happened, but it's been hearing whispers and rumors that it was supposed to be star-studded. A young LeBron James was supposed to have played in that game. Can you drop any names or hints of names that were supposed to have participated in that game?
LeBron, Melo, Iverson.
Wow.
Amari. Who was that? Jamal Crawford, Eddie Curry, Steph Marbury, Rafa Austin. It was an all-star game at
the
park.
Yeah.
Which was crazy. Franchise, may he rest in peace. And he was Streetball legend.
Right.
But it was just a who's who, and apparently there was like $250,000 like wagered on the game. So which is why I'm happy the game never happened.
If only people knew FanDuel wasn't around.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was being around right now.
Yeah.
For this particular event alone.
Yes.
It's bad enough New York bettors make over $1 billion or bring in $1 billion worth of bets from the app alone. So imagine when you're betting on a game, starts of a game like that, 250,000.
250,000 apparently wagered on the game.
Wow, that's insane.
I mean, I remember Joe didn't want to lose to Jay, and I know Jay didn't want to lose to Joe.
Right.
And it was just like, it's funny. Like you look at the world now, you see like how now back then they didn't like each other much, and now they work with each other, which is great to see because you need that. So it's crazy that next year is the 20th anniversary.
Is there any special surprises that the world need to check out on?
We're working on something pretty. We're working on something. We're working on something.
I gotta tune in. I gotta keep my eagle eye on you in this whole entire situation right now.
Yes.
Definitely. So, as you know, ESPN did a 30 for 30 about the N1 mixtape tour, which is called the greatest mixtape ever. How do you felt about the way it was being produced and being showcased to the consumers who was paying attention to the content?
No lie, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
I heard about it. I mean, we did license them footage for the thing, so
nice.
That was cool.
Right.
They reached out to us. They needed some footage, so we were like, yeah, no problem.
Nice.
But shout out to Set Free for making it happen. Some of these stories need to be told. I'm definitely gonna one day sit down and watch it when I'm home. But I heard it was good, but a lot of these guys' stories need to be told. Not everybody's story needs to be told, but there's some of those guys' stories need to be told.
Right.
And I'm glad he was able to do it.
Dope. So my next question to you would be, you have provided the content for ESPN for this dope documentary and all, but I want to ask you, while you was recording the content at the time for all these big names, big streetball names that was playing in these tournaments, who do you think was like the most charismatic? Who was the most fun to interview? Who was the most intriguing to capture while they was playing throughout these years of covering streetball basketball?
Oh, back then, John Strickland, franchise. Funny, always happy, great on the court, team, played to the crowd. Actually had a shot to play with the Knicks. Was actually one of the last cuts back in the days.
Really?
Passed away years ago.
Right.
But every time I saw him, it always put a smile on my face because he always had dope energy.
Dope.
Close friend of Jay-Z's.
Facts. Jay-Z shouted him out with that verse.
Yeah.
While Honey Strick told me, finish your breakfast,
Yeah. There was a lot of guys. Speedy. Speedy was fun to watch. Then we actually worked together with the Knicks for a little while. Who else? Garnett Thompson.
Okay.
He was cool. Rafe, Skip was cool, where he played. I mean, there's a lot of guys that, I wish they had their shot in the league. But, some of them actually played overseas and they made their money. So it was good to see, good to capture content from some of those guys. Especially, sometimes they'll hit you, be like, hey, can I get some footage or whatever. Even though I sometimes I never give it to them, but I don't know what, because I'll be busy.
Right.
But
you holding out on the stash, man. Come on, man.
We're working on something where hopefully we could get back to some of these guys. It's a process, but I've been reaching out to some of the guys to try to, we're trying to make something happen. So hopefully by the end of the summer or sometime in the summer, we can make like a nice announcement.
Nice. So You're currently working on a project which is about to air next week on Showtime. A
No,
documentary.
July.
I apologize.
July
July.
29th.
July 29th on Showtime, which will be focusing and highlighting New York City point guards. Can you give the fans a breakdown of what to expect as far as the legacy and the build up of a New York City point guard that pretty much is the face of basketball from the years on in up until now?
Yeah, it's a project that Rich Kleiman is leading with Kevin Durant, Cootie and Chike, executive producers, directed by Sam and Billy Corbin, the great Billy Corbin.
Nice.
My boy Samir Hernandez, who I just saw his documentary on Jeremy Lin, which was fantastic.
Gotta check it out.
If you're a fan of basketball, and especially if you're a Knicks fan, go on HBO Max and make sure you watch Jeremy Lin doc 38 at the Garden. It was amazing. Shout out to Samir and Trayvon. Samir hit me up and he was like, "Yo, we know you got this footage. Want you to be a part of this project." And I was like, 100% I'm in.
Right.
So, helped on the project. Got some of the commissioners from New York City involved. Obviously, our content. It's gonna be amazing. So pretty much, we followed some of the history of the New York City point guard: Sham God, Kareem Reed, Steph Marbury, Rafer Alston, Nisha Butler, Nancy Lieberman.
Wow, the great Nancy Lieberman.
Yeah, Rod Strickland, Mark Jackson. So it's good. It's good. It's good. It's premiering on Showtime on July 29th.
Definitely must see TV.
I'm just happy to be a part of the project and get called and shout out. Thank you, Samir. And shout out to Kleiman, Durant, Cootie, Chike, Sam, Billy. It's just it feels good to be part of something that big.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, for all the casual sports fans who's saying to themselves, like, what is a New York City point guard? How would you describe it to them? Like, what would be considered your example or your definition of a New York City point guard?
Charismatic, tough. Just somebody who knows how to win. That knows how to go through every hurdle, and they fight and they fight, and that's what, to me, that's what represents a New York City point guard.
Dope. So, who's your all-time favorite New York City point guard?
Growing up, Kenny Anderson, high school.
Chibs.
Yes, Kenny Anderson.
Okay.
I think he's the greatest high school basketball player in history.
Really?
Yes. New York City. You got LeBron and people, but back then we never saw nobody like him.
Right.
Had a great career, a decent NBA career, but obviously did his thing at Georgia Tech. But then you look at like guys like Rod Strickland. Rod Strickland had a great career. Like I wish a guy like Rod would have won because Rod was great. Mark Jackson was great. Marbury was cool, good to watch.
Right.
But there's a lot of guards that you're just like, I want that dude on my team.
Gotcha. Now, if you was to create a starting five full of New York City point guards, who would it be? Who would be the sixth man coming off of your squad full of point guards?
The top five?
Yep.
In no order?
Yep. No order.
Kenny Anderson.
Or your starting five. Like
Kenny Anderson.
Okay, that's one.
Marbury.
2.
Tiny Archibald.
That's a good pick right there.
Mark Jackson.
Okay.
And gotta go with Rod. And Sham got off the bench.
I like that. I gotta play devil's advocate. Kemba Walker for
Sham guy.
Ooh. Listen, I hope Kim is listening. He probably gonna say, "Yo, Edgar, come holler at me for a second. We're gonna have a talk." But I like that. I like those selections right there. I really, really do. Now, what's other than the project you're working with Showtime? Can you let fans know what else you're working on? Cause I believe you're doing some great stuff with Rucker basketball league.
Right now, I help with the family
Okay.
and some of the old Rucker footage. But right now, we're trying to building our library.
Okay.
And licensing footage and doing something with the Blackout and gonna recreate something pretty big. So a lot of things we're definitely working. Some things I actually one specific thing we're working on, but I can't even talk about it.
Got it. Now. Top secret now.
Top secret.
I was trying to nudge to get that out for the most part, but we're going to spin the block on that another time. It's only right. So before I let you go, what's some of the last things you want to say to your fans, and what's the perfect song that best describes your legacy and Hard to Guard?
He said fans. I don't know if I have any.
You have fans.
I don't know if I have any.
Fat Joe's going to look at this podcast. He's going to be like, "Yo, Edgar, you did it, my man. I love it. Fat Joe, Joey Crack, pull up on me. Let's talk,
I try to follow those guys, man. Honestly, the thing for me is, like, I've been blessed to be around some of the best people on this planet. And I pay attention. I might not say nothing, but I watch them. And I just try to, like, this journey is crazy. You try to get to a certain place and it takes a long time. You just got to appreciate, as my boy Tamel told me, sometimes you just got to appreciate it.
Definitely, definitely.
I'm just happy where we're at right now. I think, we got some big things coming. You said a song? I wouldn't have a song. I would just be like, yo, man, just keep grinding, man. Just, keep grinding, keep praying, and celebrate the wins.
Definitely.
Because no matter how big or how small, because that's what life is about. And, and if you go through a speed bump, that's okay. You're going to get a learning lesson from it.
Amen to that.
Yeah, so my thing is, like, it took me a long time to get to that point. As you know me, I get frustrated.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older, I try not to get as much frustrated. It's like, shout out to, like, Sharice George for always holding me down.
Definitely. Real one.
Calm ass Chris Jean. Mr. CJ, Mr. Calm.
Another good dude.
Yeah, but like those people, they keep me grounded. Especially Sharice, and we laugh because I drive them. I know I personally drive them crazy because I'm a big thinker and I'm a dreamer.
Right.
And they always try to, like, keep me like, hey, you need to, like, focus. And sometimes, like, we could do it this big, and like, I was just like, but that's who I am. So, I'm, shout out to you. I'm just happy and blessed that I got some good people around me.
Amen. So the only song is that perfectly describes how you feeling right now is Blessings by Big Sean and Drake.
There it is.
Way up, I feel blessed. But on that note, this is the Black Ron Burgundy Smooth Guy. Oh, my man Edgar Burgos. We signing out. Don't scoff.
Peace. Let's eat.